All right, hello. Good day, everyone. So, on this video, on this session, we'll be talking about planning the data collection strategy uh, for qualitative research. So, basically, pag-uusapan natin dito kasi ay papaano na ang procedure or ano po ba yung ating research instrument na gagamitin specifically for qualitative research. So, basically, ano po ba yung mga research instruments na gagamitin natin or yung tinatawag nating data collection tools. Okay. So, here, we have the following. Kasi qualitative ang ating focus, ang ating type of research. There are three commonly used data collection tools or research instruments. So, ito yung observation. First, we have the observation. Another one, we have interview. And lastly, we have focus group discussion. So, commonly used data collection strategy or research instrument tools. So, ito yung mga sumusunod. We have observation, interview, and focus group discussions. Now, bakit natin kailangan na gumamit na ganitong mga research instruments? Okay, basically its purpose is to answer the research questions. Okay, so paano natin masasagutan yung ating research questions? So we need to use appropriate research instruments. So these are the following as follows. Okay, observation, interview, focus group discussions. All right. So, kailan natin gagawin ang mga ito? Okay, after writing the statement of the problem or SOP. Kung tapos na tayo sa SOP, so that is the time na kailangan na nating mag-proceed sa pag-construct kung ano ba yung research instruments na gagamitin natin. It's either observation, interview, or focus group discussions. Well, let us know first what observation is. So, from the word observe, meaning to say, it is observing. Okay, observing the actions of the participants or observing the actions or behavior of our subject. So, sino po ba yung ating participants or subjects of the study? So, we have to observe. So, basically, meron po tayong iba't ibang uri ng observation. We have what we call participant observation, we have non-participant observation, and naturalistic observation. Okay? And we have this one, interview. Ito yung pinaka talagang hindi mawawala na research instrument for qualitative research. Kasi dito sa tatlo, among these three, interview ang napaka kumbaga commonly used among these three. Okay, so interview, we all know that it is asking questions. It is about asking questions on a certain topic. Okay? So, same thing with observation. Meron din tayong iba't ibang uri niyan. We have structured, semi-structured interview. We also have here informal interview and retrospective interview. Okay, so you need to know all of these types of interview in order for you to know the appropriate one to be used. And then another one, we have the focus group discussions. So focus group discussions, from the word group, it is group discussions. Okay. The researchers will be involved in a group discussions. Okay, so now let's proceed to what we call observation. Just like what I said a while back, observation basically has three types. Ito yung tinatawag nating participant observation, another one participant, then third naturalistic observation. Again, observation, we are dealing with observing the actions of the participants. Meaning to say, observe lang natin yung ating participants. Okay? ano ba yung mga gawa nila, papaano sila, ano yung actions nila in a certain situation. Okay? So, doon tayo nakaka-gather ng information sa ating participants. Okay? And, ano ba yung tinatawag natin participant observation? So, participant observation, that is, it involves an intensive interaction between the researcher and the subjects or participants. So, the researcher joins the group. He or she is studying in their environment and participate in their activities. Meaning to say, from the word participant, so you will need to participate on the activities of your participants. Okay, whether you like it or not. So, in order for you to gather information and to get deep analysis on their actions, so you have to participate in their activities. And then we have what we call non-participant observation. This is in contrast with participant observation. So it is the researcher. So you will not participate. You will not participate in the activities of the group being observed. So he or she is usually seated at the sidelines observing the action of the group. So it's not like it's different from participant, because non-participant, this is just you will just look, observe the participants without joining them in their activities. And then we have naturalistic observation. What is this? So this is an observation that requires the researcher observes the subject under a study in their natural setting. So naturalistic, you have to observe the participants or the subjects of your study by just observing, okay, their actions in their natural setup or setting. Okay, if they are, for example, the subject of your study are, let's say, a group of Mangyan tribe or a particular indigenous group. Okay, so if they are living in a certain place, okay, you have to you have to observe their daily life experiences. Okay, so how they cook, okay, how they prepare foods, okay, how they everything in natural setting. Okay, so these are the three types of observation. And another one, we have interview. Just like what I said, among the three, we have interview, that is so commonly used research instrument for qualitative research. Interview, because here we will be asking questions to our participants. And we have the following types. We have structured, semi-structured, informal, and retrospective. And what do we mean by structured interview? Ano ba yung tinatawag natin structured? Well, yung structure kasi na tinatawag natin, we already have a specific set of questions designed to elicit responses from the participants. Kumbaga, we already have the list of questions. Kumbaga, itatanong na lang natin yung ating mga questions. Kumbaga, you are prepared, okay, with your questions to be asked. Ano? And then another one, we have semi-structured. The researcher prepares open-ended questions in which the participants are free to write their responses. So here, same thing with structured. Kumbaga, there are set of questions prepared na itatanong mo sa iyong mga participants. But here, sa semi-structured, the participants are free to write their responses. Okay, open-ended questions, ibig sabihin, unlimited yung maaari nilang maging response doon sa specific question na itatanong mo. Okay? Or, nakasulat. It's either written or verbal. Okay? And then we have informal. So, what is this? So, informal, this is a casual conversation and conducted without specific sequence of questions or form of questioning. So, casual conversation, meaning to say, kung ano yung maitanong mo, that particular time and the event, okay, that is informal interview. Okay? Kumbaga, you are not prepared with your questions, wala kang nakalistang mga questions, kung ano lang yung maisip mo that time na nag-i-interview ka, so that is informal. Then, how about retrospective? Pag naman retrospective, it is done to recall and reconstruct something that happened in the past. So, meaning to say, more on, same thing with informal interview, however, but here in retrospective, you are focused on events that happened in the past. Okay, recalling past experiences. Okay, and let's say for example, you have decided to use semi-structured interview, meaning to say you are prepared with your questions. You are prepared with your open-ended questions. So that is semi-structured interview. So we have the following types of interview questions na kumbaga makakatulong talaga sa atin kung effective ba yung ating gagawing questions. Okay? For example, okay, number 1, okay, these are the following types of interview questions. We have background, knowledge questions, experience questions, opinion questions, feeling questions, and sensory questions. Then, what is this background questions? So these are routine questions about the background of the participants. Meaning to say your questions focused on the education, age, previous work, and the like. From the word background, kumbaga, we want to know ano po ba yung background ng ating mga participants. Okay? So, how about knowledge questions? Here, we are dealing with participants' factual information. So, for example, asking the participants about school information such as school rules or activities. So, that is knowledge questions. Another one, we have experience questions. From the word experience, we are focused as researchers, we are focused on what the participant is doing presently or in the past. So, for example, if I were attending your practices in the gym, so what experiences would I be likely to see you having? So that is experience questions. The number 4, we have opinion questions. From the word opinion, here, opinion questions are asked to elicit how the participants think on certain topics or issues. So, for example, what do you think about the implementation of the K-12 curriculum? So, opinion. So, you want to know the opinion of your participant by asking questions like, what is your idea? Okay, what do you think about this certain issue? Specifically, for example, implementation of the K-12 curriculum. Okay. Another one, we have feeling questions. So, feeling questions, we are pertaining to emotional responses of the participants on their experiences. So, for example, so we are referring with feeling or emotions. Like, for example, how do you feel? Okay, how do you feel when you solve a mathematics problem? Okay, so you could have that kind of question. Okay, asking what your participants feel when doing this particular activity. So that is an example of feeling question. Another one, we have sensory questions. So from the word sensory, we are pertaining with senses. Okay, basically, I know we're familiar with senses. Basically, there are five sense of sight, taste, hearing, touch, and smell. Okay, so to give you an example of sensory question, for example, when you enter the room, what did you hear? Okay, so when you enter the room, what did you hear? Okay, so what is the sense involved here in this question? What did you hear? So sense of hearing. All right. So that is how are you going to, think of some questions. Okay, for our interview. Okay. And lastly, we have focus group discussion. Just like what I said a while back, it is asking a small group of people to elicit data on a certain topic or issue. So, for example, what they think about it. Okay, so you need to discuss your thoughts. It is about sharing your ideas on a certain topic or issue. Okay, for example, the issue is about the implementation of K-12 curriculum. Okay, so this is not a relevant issue, but this is just to give you an example. Okay, so they have to the participants and the researcher should share their ideas about it. Okay, and that is focus group discussion. All right, now since our topic for this session is about data collection strategy, or planning the data collection strategy, we also have to be guided with some ethics, okay, in conducting an interview. Since sabi ko nga sa inyo, interview is the commonly used among the three. Ito yung kailangan magawa natin ng maayos. Okay, guided with some principles or guidelines. All right. So Frankel and Wallen 2010 listed a set of expectations during interviews. First, we have to respect the culture of the group being studied, especially if the approach of our study is phenomenology or referring to ethnography rather. Of course, we will be observing or we will be interviewing a group of indigenous group because we are dealing with you have to respect whatever culture they have. You need to respect the culture, okay? And then you have to respect the individual being interviewed. So interview should start and end at a scheduled time. The respondents agreed to be interviewed, spend their time with you, so make the interview more learning, another learning experience both for the interviewer and the interviewee. And then you also have to act naturally, that you don't have that the participants or the subject of the study they will not feel uncomfortable with you. So you have to act naturally. So they will not think about that you have bad intentions. Okay, while you are asking this kind of questions, you have to act naturally. And then you have to develop rapport with the participant. Building good relationships with them is a key, okay, for a successful conducting an interview. Another one, you have to ask the same question in different ways. So this is to ensure the understanding of the interviewee on what has been said. Another, ask the interviewee to repeat an answer when there is some doubt. Avoid leading questions like, you really want that? Instead, ask, what do you really want to do? Because it's like a rude, it's not polite. Okay? Okay, you have to be respectful with asking questions. The way you deliver your questions, the way you ask questions, it should be in a way that okay, that will be good to the ears. Okay, so next, do not ask dichotomous questions or questions which are answerable by yes or no, like, did you really aim to be a valedictorian? Okay, so medyo parang mapapaisip sila na parang iba yung nais mong malaman. Parang medyo, so you have to avoid dichotomous, asking dichotomous questions. Okay, questions which are answerable by yes or no. Because ang target kasi natin dito is to get an understanding. Okay? Understanding of the actions of our participants. Okay? And you have to ask questions only one at a time. Okay? Medyo wag dapat mako-confuse yung ating participants. Medyo naghalo-halo na yung, kumbaga, di na makapag-isip ng maayos kung ano ba yung tamang isagot or isasagot doon sa question na itinatanong mo. Okay? One at a time. And then, do not interrupt when the interviewee is talking. Okay? So, kung sa tingin natin is medyo hindi pa tapos yung ating ini-interview or ang ating participants sa pagbibigay ng kanyang response, do not interrupt. Kasi baka, kasi lalo na if merong laman yung kanyang sinasabi. Okay? That will add further to our analysis. Okay? So, now, papaano po ba mag-construct ng interview questions? Kasi sabi ko nga, ito yung ating gagamitin. Usually ngayon, na hindi naman tayo makakapag-conduct ng focus group discussions kasi we are not allowed to go somewhere else. Hindi tayo makakapag-participate sa mga ibang tao kasi we all know that during this time, we are in pandemic. Medyo maraming restrictions kailangan. We have to keep safe. So, since interview ang ating gagawin, okay, so I will be showing you an example ng SOP and then I will present to you paano ako mag-construct ng aking questions or interview questions. Okay, so here as you can see on my screen, this is an example SOP or statement of the problem. For example, meron tayong SOP, we are already done with our SOP, accomplished na po yung ating SOP. Paano natin masasagot ang mga research questions na ito? So, gagawa tayo ng mga interview questions. Okay, so paano? Kailangan masasagot ang lahat ng research questions na ito. Okay? So, anyway, ito nga palang nakikita nyong sample ng SOP. This is actually an output of a group, okay, na handled ko last year sa subject na ito. Okay, so I am using this sample SOP. Okay, na I think parang malinaw intindihin. It is also a good example, good sample. Kasi we're talking about perceptions of Mabini College of Batangas teachers on the new normal teaching. So here, this study attempts to know the perceptions of MCB teachers in teaching in the new normal. Specifically, it aims to answer the following questions. So, as you can see here, there are 5 questions. Number 1, what are the adjustments teachers have made in the new normal teaching when it comes to the assessment and grading system? Number 2, so far, what struggles have the teachers experienced in the new normal type of education? Then, another, what techniques of teaching or teaching methods do teachers employ to make sure that the lesson is delivered effectively? Number 4, how do teachers manage the problems arising from unstable internet connections? Then number 5, why is there a need to continue the new normal setup despite all the difficulties. So I'd like to say that I commend this group na gumawa ng SOP na ito kasi talagang pinag-isipan yung mga research questions na ito. Okay, which are these questions are aligned sa research title natin. Okay, and talagang paano natin masasabi na pinag-isipan yung mga research questions na ito? Kasi these are the questions na talagang gusto nating malaman. Okay? Gusto nating masagot. Okay? And now, how are you going to answer these research questions? So, gagawa tayo ng interview questions. Alright. So, for example, punta tayo. Siyempre, saan tayo gagawa ng ating mga questions? Okay. So, punta tayo sa ating file. Open natin ang Word document. Okay. So, ang kakailangan nyo lang lagi pag gagawa kayo ng interview questions ay ang SOP. Okay, kasi doon nyo titingnan kung masasagot ba ng ating mga interview questions na gagawin yung ating research questions. Masasagot ba? Okay, kaya lagi nating titingnan or ang kailangan nating gamitin dito sa pag-create ng interview questions ay ang ating SOP. Okay. So, here, ito yung ating SOP. And, first natin dyan, what are the adjustment teachers have made in the new normal teaching when it comes to the assessment and grading system? Okay. So, ano daw yung mga adjustments na ginawa ng mga teachers in the new normal teaching when it comes to the assessment and grading system? Okay. So, this group, okay, so ito yung mga ginawa nilang interview questions kung makikita ninyo. Sa pag-create natin ng interview questions, kailangan organized din tayo. So, you have to, kasi i-compile natin ito sa ating, if i-preprint na natin yung pinaka-output natin. Okay? So, you have to write here, interview questions. Yan. Naka-indicate naman dyan na. Interview questions. Then, below, research title, Perceptions of Mabini College of Batangas Teachers and the New Normal Teaching. And then, after that, you have to write down, lalo na kung marami tayong interview questions, kailangan natin maglagay ng part 1, part 2, part 3. Okay, kasi sabi ko nga sa atin, we have to be organized with our interview questions. Lalo na kung ang ating interview or type of interview ay structured interview or semi-structured. Here, first interview question, what is or are the adjustments that you have made in the new normal teaching when it comes to the assessment and grading system? Okay, so, ito yung itatanong natin sa ating participants. Okay. So, nanggaling lang siya dito sa first research question nila. Okay, what are the adjustments? Kumbaga, yung ginawa, parang ganun din yung question, pero itong nasa interview questions nila ay naka-address sa participants. Okay, so what is or are the adjustments that you, yung pronoun na you, okay, addressing to the participants. Alright. Okay, and we have to remember that our questions should be smart. Kailangan it's specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. Okay? So, actually, kung sa tingin natin medyo hindi general yung ating interview questions, pwede nating gawin pang specific. Alright. So, halimbawa, kasi ang gusto nating malaman ay yung adjustments na ginawa ng teachers sa assessment and grading system, pwede nating ibukod or ipagbukod yung questions na ito. Okay, so let's say for example, focus muna tayo to assessment. Okay, let's say halimbawa, assessment. Okay, and then yung pangalawa, we have grading system. Okay, kaya sabi nga natin, we have to ask questions one at a time. Okay? Okay, para maging clear yung magiging response ng ating participants So, we have to ask first, yan. So, hinati natin sa dalawa. Okay, what is the adjustments that you have made in the new normal teaching when it comes to the first assessment? So, yun muna itanong natin. Then, after masagot ng participants, yung adjustments na teacher's assessment, so, that is the time pwede nating itanong sunod yung grading system. Okay? And then, another questions. So far, what struggles have you experienced in the new normal type of education? So, yun din yung nasa research questions nila. So, what struggles have the teachers experienced in the new normal type of education? So, ang ginawa lang nila ay in-address sa participants. So far, what struggles have you experienced in the new normal type of education? Okay. So, another one, what techniques or teaching methods do you employ to make sure that the lesson is delivered effectively? Again, ano po yung questions natin? Ano po ang ating type ng interview? Semi-structured interview. Kasi we have the following prepared questions na itatanong sa ating participants. And these questions are open-ended. Okay. And another, we have, how do you manage the problems arising the unstable internet connection? So the teacher will answer this question. Okay. And then, why do you need to continue the new normal setup despite all the difficulties? Alright. So, by asking these questions, I think that is good enough na makakuha ng information, na makagather ng information about how or what are the experiences of our teachers. Alright? So, ganito lang gumawa ng interview questions. Okay? Just make sure that masasagot yung ating SOP. Alright? Okay. So, if everything is clear, okay, so I think okay, makakapagawa na kayo ng interview questions. Alright. So now, paano natin, ano naman yung magiging mode of pagsisend natin or pagsasagawa or pagko-conduct ng interviews sa mismong participants natin. Okay? So, pwede nating gawin in form of Google Form. Okay. Okay, pag alam natin gumawa ng Google Form, so 'di ba? Okay, mag-create lang tayo sa Google Form mga questions, and then i-copy natin yung link ng form na iyon, then i-send na lang natin sa ating mga participants. Usually ganun ang nangyayari ngayon kasi medyo mahirap yung situation ngayon to go. For example, lalo na kung malayo ang ating participants, so, medyo mahirapan tayo doon. Okay, since we have the limited time, we only have a limited time for this. So, kung ano yung dali sa atin, yun ang gagawin natin. Alright. Okay. So, I think that would be all. Gagawin natin to ng organized and with the help of our members. Okay. So, it is kasi nangyayari ngayon, lalo na pag group activity, pag ganitong group task, medyo kailangan talaga natin, we have to ask or we have to consult other members kasi division of work very important. Okay, kung isa lang yung asahan natin, isa lang yung gagawa, hindi kakayanin. Kasi just like what I was saying, limited yung time natin, kailangan natin hati-hatiin yung trabaho. Okay. So, I think that would be all. And thank you for listening. And yun lang. So, I hope makagawa kayo ng isang interview questions or set of questions for your interview. Okay. So, that because right after that, magagawa na natin lahat ng chapters ng ating research. Alright. So, thank you. And God bless everyone.